What does it take to consistently write $40,000 per month? In this video, I'm going to be breaking down exactly why you should be scripting and controlling the conversation when you're talking to clients and what you can do to improve not only your close rate, but presentation rate and booked appointments. My name is Trey. I'm the owner of Agent Lead Lab. In the past 3.5 years, we've helped 550 agents issue pay $40,000 per month. And on this channel, I try to talk about the strategies, tendencies, and behaviors of those individuals and what you as an agent can go out and do for yourself. So as always, just make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. Let's hop right into it. Okay, so context. You guys know I love to give context about where this came from. All right, so this is going to be more about strategies to get our contact plus presentation plus controlling call. I don't know if that's spelled controlling right. Y'all know my controller call, whatever. Cool. So where did this come from? Ironically, this morning I'm leaving the gym, driving home, and I'm getting ready to go put on, my little YouTube, whatever. And I get a call. No, obviously I run a lead company. You have to have like your numbers and whatnot on the ads for, legal reason. And it redirects to not my number, but my business number, redirects to another number, and then redirects to me. So these call-ins will come into myself. Part of me is like, I probably get somebody. That's neither here nor there. Point of fact is sometimes I'll get leads that call in, right? And then I go reference and see like, okay, did this lead go to somebody? Did they fill it out or did they just call? Some people will just call and not fill it out. If they filled it out, I'll send it to the agent, obviously, that it went to. If they don't fill it out, then I'll just pick an agent and send it to them. Well, I sent it to one of my agents today, and I'll pick people that like I just know have basically the whole USA, because I'll ask them where their state is at, and I can't like bother to go back and look. Here's the point though. I did that, and then 2 days ago, so on, I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday, I'm always trying new leads, so I'm always building things out, and I'm getting to it here, guys, but I'm always building things out. I'm always trying new things, and one of the things that I wanted to try was refining and making a better veteran lead, because there's this obsession with like having lower costing leads, which is like cool, but it's like, okay, how can we generate that for our clients? I'm always trying to think of innovative ways to provide really good leads, but also just be a steward and a student of the game. So two things. When the person called into me, I have zero script. Now, granted, I think I'm pretty good at sales. I've leaned more into it now, but your tonality and how you control the conversation. Now, I answered the phone and I didn't have any script. I was just like, hey. She's like, hey. I'm like, yes. May I ask who I'm speaking with? And she said her name. And I said, okay. And are you, a veteran? And she was like, yes. I'm like, okay. So we went through the script, but what I said is I controlled the conversation. I took notes of my previous times with these, because when these people start calling in, I forget that number's attached because it's my business phone. So I'll get a bunch of calls to that number and I'll always pick up. And I noticed the first time that it happened, audited myself, and I'm getting to higher contact rate, presentation, controlling the call, right? So I audited myself and I was doing a lot, and then I just will literally go to my phone and be like, hey, hold on for a second, and transfer. No script, no fancy sauce, nothing, because you don't really need that stuff, right? And that's why I'm about to go through this, what I'm about to say today. The lady was super cool. I was very direct. You want life insurance because you're a veteran? Yes. And you want to get this taken care of today, correct? Yes. Here's the thing. What I've noticed is when I started selling to agents, by the way, is significantly more difficult than selling to anybody in the life insurance space, because you're selling to a salesperson. So there's a lot. You have to be a little bit more witty, and you also have to really be extremely direct, because they don't want you to beat around the bush, which I think sometimes we get caught in the. Hold on a second. Sorry. So I'm at a little technical difficulty, y'all. Okay. So what I was saying is sometimes you have to control the call and be very honest with people about what they can expect to happen. So when you're dealing with agents, you have to be extremely direct. Now, when I talk to life insurance prospects, I get phased by absolutely nothing, and I don't feel like I need a script. I do need to know what happened. I do need to know where I'm going. So let me not say I don't need a script, but I don't need a script for the intro, because I know exactly why they're calling. Like I get it, right? And part of the reason why agents struggle is not necessarily because they don't know how to talk to people. Like you do all these trainings, all these people have all this confidence, they watch all these videos, But the problem is that they're so obsessed with trying to say the right thing rather than having the proper mindset about how to say the thing that they're trying to get across. If you know how to say the thing that you're trying to get across, you're going to have a significant difference in confidence when it comes to you knowing what to say, right? Because I can clearly be like, hey, describe what this is. Somebody could say, okay, it's a watch. It's got a black band. It's got a face. It lights up. It looks like you can kind of move it. It's got a little nozzle on it. So if I'm like, hey, somebody asked, they were looking for this. You have to call and describe what it looks like. You're going to call and be very vivid. Be like, hey, so I got this thing. Let's just imagine you don't know what it's called. I got this thing. It's got, it looks like an attachment in the middle, 2 places where you can button it. It's got a nozzle on it. It's got a face. It looks like a box in the middle. It has a strap on one side and a strap on the other that's connecting it. What do you think somebody's going to say? It's a watch, right? And then they're like, well, when they click it, it lights up and it looks like you can tap it and it's like it's a touch screen. So I would define it as, bands on both sides, a touch screen in the middle. It looks like it can clip together, but it's like almost like a button that can click together, and you just start describing what it is. Now, I didn't tell this person it was a watch, but I showed it to them and I explained to them that you need to describe it to this person. So they're gonna if somebody's like, is it a bottle? You're like, no, it's not a bottle, or let me give them something else. Is it a leash or whatever? I'm just making things up, right? But what I'm trying to get to, don't gotta get too far, is that when you know what your client saw and you understand the process that they're going through, you understand how advertising works. That's why it's important to be a student, right? You have way more confidence. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because in this call today, I was listening to the agent on the phone and he was doing his thing. You feel me? Like, no problem with him. But then I thought about when I called these leads the other day, no information, name, email, phone number, state. And I don't even feel like I needed the state, to be honest with you, if I had all the states that I was targeting, which is a whole other conversation. I called those people like they filled out 10 data points. Why? Because I knew exactly what they filled it out, and I really kind of understand why they filled it out. Now, when I was an agent, all I could use was my script. So it's honestly like you're going into a fight with one eye closed. Now, you can still fight and do your thing. And there's some people with one eye that still go crazy. But if I have both eyes and I could truly see what's going on, or it's like I'm fighting with both eyes, but I don't have my contacts in, right? There's so many different analogies you could use. You're not actually seeing the full picture. You only see part of it. Now, the reason why that is because you don't know how to get in contact with people properly, because you think, right? And because you don't understand the grand scope. You think that because you bought leads that they're supposed to pick up. What you don't realize is that these same people, leads come from the internet, unless it's mail. Most people are coming from some form of internet traffic, whether it's email, which will have typically higher pickup rates because it's more personalized, right? So if they respond to some sort of email campaign, they opt in, they're going to be higher. That's why you'll see like a lot of these companies don't have those strategies because they're much more difficult to accomplish. But if you're buying from most companies and you're buying leads and you're a life insurance agent, you need to understand that why the contact rate is the way it is. You don't just base it, say, oh, none of these leads pick up, so internet leads suck. No, you don't see the world in the way to understand how to actually get around the barriers to help you be successful. Give you a perfect example. Even for me, like when I dial very differently than most people. Like some people dial to say they dialed. I tried to call the lead. That you already had a wrong mindset. So when it comes to different strategies, the strategy doesn't work without the mindset. There's a video I recorded, I think, a few months ago. I talked about the only thing that matters in order to hit 40,000. It's your mind. See, in a lot of places, there's different things you need to do. Like you can't set up AI without using AI. Like you can't be like, oh yeah, I have the best mind in the world, so I'm going to make AI. It's like, no, you need to leverage AI platforms where you can't run ads unless you have an ad account. Your mind, like, dude, you can run up the bag doing life insurance in any way. You can work friends and family. You can buy leads. You can go source things. You can put mail out. You can go to random strangers. They just need social security numbers. You got to figure out how you can help them. But that's in your mind. If you were broke, it doesn't matter. You can still run it up because you could go out and just solicit random people. You got a license. Honestly, I tell people, your license is like a weapon. You know when they say like pro boxers are basically, they can't fight because their hands are considered a weapon? You're a life insurance agent. You have the ability to go on your laptop or your iPad or your phone and close clients by putting their social security number, their routing and account number, their draft date, asking them some questions, which the MIB will automatically update, and it will let you know if they're approved. You pick the draft date, it gets drafted, you get paid. There's nothing like it. That is a weapon. You can close your aunt, you can close your wife, you can close your son, you can close your cousin, you can close a lead, you can close a referral, you can close somebody at the grocery store, you can close somebody you're calling over the phone, you can close people on Instagram Live. You can do whatever you want. You have a weapon. You legitimately have a weapon, right? So I know I'm talking about strategies, but we're going back to mindset. You have to understand that it's very, very, very important. Very, very, very important. If you understand that what I'm about to explain only matters if you understand what you have. So first and foremost, we're going to reverse engineer. We're going to talk about controlling the call. Now, to me, controlling the call means your tonality, and you like now when I talk to people, strangers, I'm not really worried about them hanging up. Like I control when they hang up. Unless they just actually bang on me. Like they're just like they hang up. But I don't let the what they're going to say determine. When I hear a response, I already think about what they may say next. When somebody asks me a certain question, I'm prepared for what may happen. So I already have, like, it's like my mind is like an arsenal. And I'm like, okay, my bad. I'm like, you said this? Okay, I'm going to respond this. You said this? Okay, I'm going to respond this. Controlling the call is, hey, John. Yeah, hey, John. Giving you a call back. You requested this. I have this information. Is that correct? Yes. Perfect. That's exactly why I'm calling. My job is to blah, 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 blah. Go ahead and grab your pen and paper. I'm going to give you some information. Cool, John. Do you have that down? Perfect. So this is the kind of way it works. I need to ask you a few questions to figure this out. Then once I do this, I'm going to figure this out. And then once we figure that out, we're going to figure this out. This should only take us about 10 minutes, right? Is there any reason we can't just go ahead and get this knocked out real quick so we can get this taken care of? And like, that's my script. I just made that up on the go because now that I know what I know, I would be super direct and to the point. There's no point in beating around the bush. People want you to be direct and honest. Yes, you need to figure out why they're looking for it, for sure. You can ask that, but that doesn't need to be super long-winded. Okay, John, let's start with why. Why are you looking into this? I'm controlling the call. I told him what's going to happen. Now I'm going to say, John, first, and I'll say just this. John, first thing I'm going to do, I gave you my information. You have my license number. What that means, John, is I'm going to ask you some important, pertinent information. I'm a licensed advisor. That means that I'm approved through the state. That means that I actually have the legal authority to be able to get you approved for these products. Now, also, John, I'm licensed with 30 other carriers or 20 carriers or 10 carriers, whatever you got. You can tell them the truth. It doesn't matter. I'm licensed with, up to 30 other carriers. So what that means today is I'm going to do all the shopping, right? So you're not going to have to go find other quotes. That's why when you fill this out, they sent you to me. All right. I have everybody. So it's the last time you have to go searching for us. Does that make sense? Yes. Perfect. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you a few questions about why you're looking into this. Because John, look, at the end of the day, when you look into this, we need to figure out who we're protecting, why we're protecting them, and why it's important for us to get this established right now. He's like, okay. Cool. And I'm like, all right, perfect. And once we figure out the why, I'm then going to go through and ask you some quick medical questions. All right. That's what's called the Medical Information Bureau. The reason I need to ask these questions is because in order for me to actually get you approved, I need to make sure they're going to go and actually check your background to see if you're qualified. Now, the cool thing is I'm going to get you qualified regardless, right? But my job is to figure out how I can get you the most affordable rate. Does that make sense? Perfect. Cool. And then after I do that, we're going to put it in an application. Now, John, the way this works is really simple, okay? After I'm going to take all those questions that I just asked, I'm going to need your social security and I'm going to need your banking information, right? Now, there's a few ways you can do that. You can say that at the front, or you can say, I'm going to ask you some pertinent information. You can try both. I've seen both work. Some people will just be like, hey, they'll say what it is because they want to get it out of the way. If you don't want to handle objections at the end, tell them exactly what's going to happen. Hey, I'm going to ask you some pertinent information. Once we get to the end of that, per us actually getting approved and figuring out what it is, I will need to grab your social and I need to grab some banking. All right. So let's go ahead and hop into the why. You need to give them a chance to say no. They need to understand that that's what's going to happen. Because it's weird. It's like, dude, you're getting life insurance. It's going to protect your family. They're going to pay out a tax-free death benefit. And you can phrase that however you want. Now, that's a more straightforward control the call approach. You can do that same thing and not include banking. But the problem is at some point, you're going to have to bring it up and it's going to seem awkward. And if they didn't want to give it to you, you might have wasted your whole time. Now, some people can say that you need to build rapport, and that's fair. I understand that. But all I'm saying is, if you're controlling the call, I've seen a lot of people who control the call that don't get any banking objections because they say it from the beginning. Because it's weird. It's like, well, why would you need my banking? It's like, I'm just, like I said, this is the process. We have to get you approved. Okay. If you just want quotes, we can literally just go to Google and type in quotes and I can give you numbers. That doesn't mean anything. You fill this out because you want to get this taken care of. I'm assuming, correct? If they say no, move on. Now, here's the reason why I feel more confident about that. I know how much money it costs to generate a lead because I run the company, right? So in my mind, I'm just doing the numbers. I don't need everybody to be like, oh, I'm gonna stay here for my time is money. I'm trying to figure out how can I close 2 to 3 deals a day and I'm good. So if I'm an agent, that's how I would look at it. And this video might turn into me what I would do as an agent, because now that I'm thinking about it, and maybe I do change the name of this to that. Nah, let's change the name of this to that. So the name of this video would really be, what I would do is, I'll just keep it the same, but it would be like because this is the most important thing: higher contact rate, presentation, controlling the call, and closing. Right. So we're talking about controlling the call, and I'm rambling a little bit today because I got excited from listening to the gentleman speak, because it made me think like, how would I have done that differently? What would I be doing? Would I be doing call-in leads? Would I be doing and then what lead type would I really be doing? Like, would I want to do mortgage protection? I like selling mortgage protection, but selling veterans is so simple. So many people want me to drop videos on it because it's so simple, but it's so high premiums. You're basically calling a glorified final expense lead, but you're getting premium like it's mortgage protection. So it's very simple. It's probably simple to scale. Here's where I think things could be very different, though. Most people are trying to run veterans and they're trying to do volume. That's why I generate the leads I do. I would do veterans and do intent. Because if you think about it and you run the numbers, I dropped a video yesterday about numbers. When you run the numbers, and you figure out, so the cool thing about life insurance is that your cost to acquire a client, you can look at it from the premium draft day, or you can look at it from what they give you on advance. I would look at it from advance, because if you leverage your money properly and you get ahead, you really will never go back. Because the cool thing is there's such a compounding effect. You get overrides if you build a team, but even if you do it solo, but it only works if you're somebody like myself and you have your own system, or you can get leads at a much more consistent rate and they're still quality. So I know I can bring in leads for a really good price, and then I could sell them. So if let's say I sell a lead for $50 and generate it for 10, which I don't, because trust me, that'd be amazing. $40 profit margin per lead would be crazy for a $50 lead, but that's not the case. But let's say I generate a lead for 10 actually, and it sells for 50. So it's a 5X. If 1 in every 5 of those leads is actually a close, then theoretically, or 1 in every 5 of those leads is a presentation, then that means I spend $50 to do a prezi. So my cost per booked appointment or cost per presentation is $50. And if I close at 50%, then my cost to acquire a client is $100. If I generate the leads for less, you just start doing the math. So if I generate the leads, let's say that's a mortgage protection lead. And I generate the leads for $3 for final expense. And then I do every 10 leads, I get 1 sale. So $30 cost to acquire a client. Let's say the leads are $5 or $7, it doesn't matter. If all those numbers are sub 100 cost to acquire a client, and even if I actually close them properly, that's what I'm saying, not just close everybody, close them properly. And I'm making, $800 to $1,000 in actually like deposits per close. That's a 10X on everybody I close. I really only need to close like 3 people a day, 2-3 people a day. And if I got enough leads coming in, then I just so like, I know I went from controlling the call, but no, this is gonna sound crazy. The reason why I feel that way and I can talk to people like that is because I know how many leads I can get for that rate, and I know how much it costs for me to generate that conversation. You start breaking down cost per conversation for these leads, it's insane. Like, you look at, okay, so every person I talk to, I don't need to stress if they're not like, if I say my script and I get in my presentation, they don't like it, that's fine. It only cost me $50 to talk to you. If the next person I talk to is cool with it, or if I get through the prezi and you don't close, I'm not tripping. I'm not going to press, because I know it's on the other side of trying to force people through. Now, there's a difference between forcing people through and being honest. I used to try to force people through. That's like finessing to like get them to pay. I'm talking about being honest with people. John, you said you wanted this. Now, I'm not going to pull your heartstrings. I literally have tons of people to talk to, and I want to do this for you. But if you don't want to protect your family and this is not important to you, you need to let me know, because we didn't just spend the past 30 minutes for us to get to the end, and now you're acting, like you don't want to do it. We need to move forward. I know it's a little uncomfortable. You don't want to spend it. There's never a time for a new bill, but at the end of the day, we move forward. Right? So go ahead and grab your writing account number so we can get this taken care of. If he pushes back, cool, John, I'm not going to do this. So if you don't want to do it, I'm not going to call you back. You're not going to answer, and that's fine. Let's go ahead. And at the end of the day, I'm not going to try to force. So I'm going to be like, hey, I'm backing out. Now, some people won't agree with that, and that's fine. I'm not here for everybody. I'm just letting you know. I know what's on the other side of that. There's a difference between being honest and being straightforward and being controlling the conversation and being direct and leading, right? That's, hey, let's do this. If they're still objecting, you don't need to say, well, let's just see what we get proof for. It's not going to draft today. No, I've done that. That's, hey, we're going to set it out to the first. So you got some time to think about it. No, this is happening, right? And another thing is thinking about controlling the call. You drafting the payment today, but then drafting every other day on this day. Hey, we need to draft this today because they need to know that you can get approved. Part of the approval process is that the payment actually can go through. Okay. So just go ahead and check. Do you have that one, whatever, in the bank account, $200 in the bank account right now? No. Okay. Well, we need to be there at all times. So that way, in the event that something does happen, you always have it. Okay. Now, if you, for whatever reason, don't have it, right, then I'll call you back. Like, because yes, you can set it to the first. I'm not saying you can't, but what ends up happening when you start posting too much is that you're waiting on somebody to issue, then you have to call them back because their stuff declines or they forget. And honestly, like even with me, I don't remember, like all my stuff's on auto draft, but like even my car payment stuff like that. So, but I live a different type of lifestyle. Some of these people, they don't live that lifestyle where they got money where it's like if it hits their account, they're gonna be straight. Like sometimes stuff hits my account, I don't even know. I have to go back and be like, oh snap, I didn't even know I was still paying for that. These people, if you're drafting $200-300 out of their bank account, it's hurting them. Not hurting them. Like that's a pretty decent amount, right? And they're one move away from that boy just whatever. So you have to take control of the call. You have to. And part of it is you knowing exactly what the client saw because you speak with so much more confidence and your tonality is completely different. Okay. So I wanted to go ahead and just touch on that real quick. Next thing, presentations. Okay. So this ties in with contact rate. I find it funny that like every time I pick up the phone and dial, I get people to pick up. Like I don't typically go and just like not have people pick up. And if I do, I always try to find alternative ways to do it. And I'm just like, hey, I'm just gonna call back. Like I'm not gonna go a day without working. Like I'm gonna work. Like even if I don't close a ton of people, I'm still gonna close some. That's how my mind works. It's like, okay, cool, I'm closing this, let's go. And that at the end of the day is really the biggest difference because I think and I know that truly it has to work or it has to work, but also that in order for me to consistently be able to write business, I have to get in contact with these people. The idea of like I buy leads and I need the leads to pick up is so false. It's not the leads problem that they don't pick up. It's a you problem. Like everybody's using the same platforms. So if people just aren't picking up, that's not like, oh, this person's lead. What how the person responds is determining on what the lead said, not them picking up. It's not honestly. Some of these leads do have better pickup ratio, but I'm saying like in general, most of the times those complaints come when people work the wrong lead type. They buy the leads and work them improperly. I see all the time on my agent sheets, they call leads and they don't get in contact with people and they just act like it's like, oh yeah, cool. Like, oh yeah, I mean, these people didn't pick up. Like if I see your sheet and you don't have any markings, like I know you may call them, but like, bro, you're not calling them as much as you can because even me, like I have my team call and then I'll call and it's like when I call, the people pick up. So I'm just a little confused. So it's all about how you call. It's all about what you do when you call. Do you triple dial and then FaceTime and then triple dial them again? Like I'm relentless. I come to the mindset of like when it comes to contact rate and presenting, I need to get prezzies because prezzies equal closes. I don't lean on the side of like, oh well, they don't pick up, so that's why I'm not. No, I have to find a way to get them to pick up because I need enough people to pick up that I can get enough presentations. I need enough presentations I can get it closed. It's all numbers. It's all numbers. But that's why I said it goes back to the number one thing that matters is the way that you think. That's how you think. In order to hit 40, 50, 60K, it's how you think. And then based off how you think, you will perform those actions. It's always be, do, have. Become the person who does would do these things. Or reverse engineer and say, these people do these things. How do I become that person? What are the things and the behaviors and the way that they carry themselves that I can embody myself and go out and actually execute on? The moment I do that, that's when the difference actually shakes. When I can sit down and analyze, like, this is exactly what I need to do. Here's how it works. I'm going to be successful because these are the steps that I'm willing to take. And at the end of the day, that is what you have to like ingrain and focus on at all times. So as an agent, you need to understand that those three things are important: tonality and controlling the call, being able to present. But being able to present it goes to what contact rate. Now I have a video where I go through the contact rate strategies, what you should be doing, how you should be calling them, what the follow up, FaceTime, like all those strategies. Cool. And if you join our community, we also have that completely free where I will go through and explain what the top producers are doing to get in contact with these leads. But at the end of the day, none of that matters if you have the wrong mindset. I can tell you all these things, but if you don't actually get to it and call, it's funny because like I see people dialing at 9. Why would you start dialing at 9 when you can start dialing at 8? I'm just being honest. Like that's my, I'm such like, I would be like, this starts at 7 because we're starting at 8. So we're gonna start calling people at 8. So the sales meeting starts at 7. If you're gonna work here, you're gonna work from 7. You're gonna go 8 and then we finish at 8. Unless you can go to like 9, 10 and you want to call into the evening, that's fine. It's your own prerogative. I'm hitting these people in the morning though. 8 o'clock, right in the dot, I'm hitting the first hour. Because why not? I don't see why you wouldn't. It doesn't make any sense to me. That lady called me today at 6 o'clock in the morning. She was wide awake. She knew exactly what she wanted. We used to call people at 7, 7:30. Oh, that's really early. Says who? There's tons of people that are up. There's so many people in this world. That's why I love life insurance. You can sell it forever to every single person. There's no excuses that you can't make money, get rich, and have everything that you're looking for as an agent in the life insurance space. Absolutely, because the leads are infinite. That's why I love it. The leads are infinite. That you can target anybody. Anybody's available to fill out a form. Anybody can get it. You got a social security number, you can get it. It's a weapon. You got to think of it like that. When you have a life insurance license, you basically are a weapon. You have a weapon at your disposal at all times. I say that if all else fail, if God treated it like Job and was like, yo, what's this already happened to me? I've lost it all, right? And I got down to my lowest points. I know I could go and I know with my skill set, with my license being renewed, I could go out, hit up one of my former agency owners if my business went underneath and be like, yo, I just need some contracts, brother. Let me get back on my feet. And I would grind my way out. I would solicit everybody and it would make me into an absolute savage. So I live my life willing to bet on myself. And as an agent, you should do that too. You should buy the leads that feel too expensive. Try it out. What's the worst thing that can happen? They don't work? That's my thing. Is like, if the worst thing that happens is that it doesn't work. That's the worst thing. But what happens if it does? What happens if that's the best relationship that you've ever had? You lose money, bro. You're in a life insurance space. You close one person, you make your money back. You drop $1,000 on leads, $2,000 on leads. You can't make that back. You don't believe in yourself enough to go out and make that back. It doesn't make any sense to me. I was always down to try stuff. Let me see what this is talking about. 3, 4 grand. I do that now. You got to do that as an agent, though. Like, you can't live your life saying like, oh man, you know what? Like maybe this will work. No, it's going to work. It's going to work. And if it doesn't work, that's fine. I'm going to just make the money back and I'm going to reinvest and find something else. People don't try enough. They give up. It's like dating. They're like, oh, nothing works. I can't find anybody. It's like, bro, you got to keep dating until you find the right person. Then when you find them, lock that thing down. Same thing happens with leads. It's like, cool. It did, like, you got to evaluate yourself, bro. If other people are doing it, it's always you. It's never the leads. No matter what, it's always you. If people pick up and they book, it's always you. Bro, I will never blame leads ever. I will never blame leads. I won't blame them. The only time you'll hear me blame a lead is if it's not what, like, that person, like, for example, even in our company, we've had people coming through the funnel for whatever reason that are like doing landscaping. I'm like, gang, we don't even do landscaping. So I'm not like, that doesn't count. But if the person filled it out, like, it's my responsibility to close them. I don't care. Like, it doesn't matter. The algorithm, the pixel, all that stuff, it can bring through garbage people. There are better and worse people. I get it, relatively speaking. But bro, at the end of the day, the main objective, the main goal is when that person picks up the phone, if they know what it is and I book an appointment, I got to close it. If I don't close it, it's on me. If they don't show up to the appointment, it's on me. I'm going back and working it. I know that because I went from not having it all, but growing my business, feeling like I'm whatever, by myself, really with a little bit of a team, to being in the hole 100K to having to go shut down everything, to have to go back and say, this is how I'm going to go to the drawing board and this is how it's going to work. And this is exactly what we're going to do. And I went and worked all those leads that were 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 months old, hitting them up, DMing people every single day because I knew in my mind that's what I had to do. That was what was necessary. So if you're an agent, there's certain things you just have to do and you're not doing them. If you're not at 40, 50K, there's a reason why. It's not the leads. It's not your upline. It's you. And when you take accountability for that, you're going to go way further. Because every time you blame something else, you're giving them control. You're giving them power. When you look internally, you give yourself the power. You say, look, it's on me. I need to change this, change this, change this. And then the beautiful thing about it is you can alter it. When you give other people the power, you can't alter it. It just is what it is. And that's no way to live your life, right? So take control, right? Make sure that in your mind, you know you gotta get people to pick up and you gotta present. Blaming the leads doesn't change anything, bro. It doesn't change anything. At the end of the day, this is what you got to do. So as always, like, comment, subscribe. If you're looking for leads, you can go to leadlabcrm.com. If you want to partner up with us completely for free, you can go to agentleadlab.com and book a strategy call to speak with myself or one of our advisors. Otherwise, I'll see you guys soon. Peace.